Hey YouTube, this is Carl Custa, and today I'm going to be doing some test hands with ILMOS over here. So, I'm not sure if this is like a good idea or something, because Texas Regionals is coming up pretty much next week, or next week, I can't remember, and Vegas is coming up the week after that. So, really, this is just showing off like a deck that I'll be playing. I took some cards out because it's like kind of a secret tech kind of thing, so you won't be seeing it in the video. But, you know, yeah, just some test hands. This is also to help prepare, like, if you guys plan on playing this deck at YSTS Vegas, then you can learn a little bit more about the deck and how I play it with my experiences and, you know, how my mindset on the deck. But yeah, so I'm just going to be doing some shuffling, shuffle. This is how I power shuffle. Do. You do not see this. If you can count it, there's 41 in here. In my opinion, the standard number for ILMOS should be 42. Because, one, you don't want to draw into multiple Magdalenes, and two, you want to lower your chances of drawing White Dragon Ninja as much as possible, and you want to avoid drawing ninjutsu arts, but there's a certain ratio of the ninjutsu arts that you want to draw. If I draw it, I'll explain why. Set. First hand. Alright, so this is a pretty good hand. What I would do here is Rhoda for Hanzo and search out the ninjutsu art. So when I play this deck, I always assume that Heavy Storm is legal. I know it's not legal, but I always want the mentality that it is legal because of cards like Exton Knight, Full House, Maleficent Catastrophe, all that stuff. So I want to get into the habit of Heavy Storm is legal. So I would set probably these three cards right here. So when I play ILMOS, I want to set as like one of every stopper possible. So one summon stopper, attack stopper, and effect stopper. And I would not set another copy of that card. So if I had like a Deep Prison and Mirror Force, I would only set one of those. If I had a Bombless and a Trap Hole, I would set only one of those. Stuff like that. So I set a attack stopper, a summon stopper, and a disruptor card. To disrupt. So this is like how it is right here. So my opponent goes, they summon a card. This is actually pretty hard to do when I don't know what my opponent's playing. But let's say they try to bait out something useless. I would probably Trap Hole. Let's assume that they, for sake of this, that they summon something that I don't like. I'm gonna transform into White Dragon Ninja. I would always go White Dragon Ninja first because you want to get her out of the deck as soon as possible. Because you don't want to draw into her. I would go Redox if I don't have White Dragon in the deck, or if I have a Magdalene in the graveyard, one Magdalene in hand, and yeah. So if I had like one Magdalene in the graveyard and one in the hand, I'll go for Redox, because that way at end phase, Redox would bounce back to my hand. Next turn I can summon Magdalene, search Magdalene, discard that Redox I specialed, and the Magdalene to go into a Tiramisu. And if they stop it, like a Trench or something, then the Magdalenes would just go back into my deck, and then I didn't really lose too much. It's like, my engine would still be going with two Magdalenes. And then Redox is in the graveyard, so you know, he's still technically alive. Alright, so it's next 5. Or 6. Alright, so here's another thing. If I draw a Thunder King first turn, I'll always summon the Thunder King, because I want him to be the guy that eats Dark Holes, the guy that eats Phoenix Chains, eats Warning, all that stuff. Because if I summon like these, they're gonna know like what I have, and they're kind of small. And I just want Thunder King to like just be the guy that baits, you know, stuff out. So like, here's a Summon Stopper, and a Attack Stopper. So I just set these two. Also with this mentality, if my opponent MSTs, they're usually going to MST if they're going to blind, like first turn or as early as they can. So my warning would be safe from MSTs, and they will only hit like a Mirror Force or a normal Trap Hole. So opponent somehow gets past Thunder King, or for sake of this, let's say they don't. Like somehow they just set a card. Alright, draw. And I would just attack with Thunder King. I wouldn't summon, I wouldn't, you know, search, because, you know, you can't. They'd be here just for, like, to, you know, in case, when Thunder King dies, it won't be a minus, kind of thing, you know? So I would just always YOLO attack, I won't even care, just if he dies or not. He served his purpose of stunning, plus back row. But for sake of this, let's say he dies. Alright, so these guys are back alive. When I have Hanzo, and another searcher in hand, I will summon the other searcher first, if like they don't have any field for me to get over. So she's here to make sure that my back row is set up, so whatever they do, they would, you know, fall into a trap hole. But if they have like a monster established, like they have a Stardust Spark Dragon up, then I would summon Hanzo. Basically, if I summon Hanzo and he resolves, that Stardust is gonna die. Like, it's gonna leave. Unless they have MST or warning. But, you know, they would warning him. And they would MST the Ninja Art. But if they had MST or warning, she wouldn't have done anything anyway. Like, she would have, you know, the monster... I would set a trap hole, but the monster's still there. So, this would depend on what they have on the field. So, if they have monster out, Ninja Art. If they don't have one, trap hole. Alright, one more thing. If I didn't have Thunder King at that point, and I had this hand here, if I went first, I would summon Mirmelo, and then what trap hole I search would depend on my hand. The highest priority would be bottomless, but say if I have trap hole already, I would not search bottomless. I would actually search out Trap Tricks Nightmare Trap Hole. Because if my hand didn't have any effect negator, then I just, you know, summoned, if my opponent is playing Infernities, if I didn't know it, then Bombless wouldn't do very much against them because they can still search. Meanwhile, this would kill their plays. So basically, if I don't have an effect negator in my hand, I would search out this. If I do have an effect negator, like Effect Veiler or a Phoenix Chain, then I will search out Bombless. So, Bombless isn't really the go-to card in my opinion. Plus, it's better to rip into a Bombless than it is to rip into a Trap Tricks Nightmare Trap Hole later in game. Because Bombless is more versatile of what you want to kill, and Trap Tricks Nightmare Trap Hole, you really want to kill like the earlier game monsters that get special summoned, like Hyperion or Tiger King or Dragosack. Those cards. But again, it's also susceptible to what you're playing against. Like if you're playing against Fire Fists, prioritize searching for Bombless or regular Trap Hole instead of Trap Tricks. But that's like the mentality of toolbox decks. You gotta like know what you're playing. Next 5 or 6. Alright, so this hand's kind of bad, but this is why we play duality. Alright, so that's not the greatest either. So when you're in a position like this, well, I would probably get the Hammerhead. Because Hammerhead combos with Safe Zone. So right there's, the hand actually got a lot better because of duality. In this situation, I would summon Hammerhead because they know that I have it, so there's no point in like bluffing it. Or if they didn't know, you could set it and they attack into it with like a Exceed monster, bounces back to the extra deck. In a way, it's like a Painless Soldier. I could set that. Here's a Disruptor, a Summon Negator, and this would stay in my hand. So my opponent goes and they attack into him. I would Safe Zone, and their monster bounces back to the hand. And not sure if I shuffled yet, but no, I would Warning, just so their field's empty and Hammerhead can attack directly. Depends on what they have. Alright, so my turn, draw. Okay, regular trap hole. It's not the greatest. So I will keep this in hand. Bone goes, Valor, whatever it is. Oh, not bad. Okay, so yeah, the hand got a lot better now. So if they have a threat up, Hammerhead would bounce it back to their hand. If not, he's a good wall. So you summon Mirmello, search out Trap Hole, and then use your other cards to get rid of their monsters. So the hand was kind of mediocre, but it wasn't like the worst hand in the world. There's lots of times where I had like no monsters, and then I duality, the third card is a Hanzo, and that's like the greatest feeling ever. But a better feeling would be Magiline, because if I had Magiline and lots of back row, you play gadget mode. Next 5, 4, 6. Okay, so that's kind of terrible. So this is a bad hand, but every deck has bad hands. So here I would save Rhoda. I would never use Rhoda first turn just to like thin a deck out. I would use first turn if I have a Searcher and I want a Thrasher for a basic first turn, but here I don't. So here I would try to bait out like an MST. So actually I would just set both of these, and I'll set all 3 of these, say F it, because it's a bad hand anyway. They go assume they MST back row, because people like to blind MST. Drop. Alright, so here I'm going to activate Rhoda, search out a Hanzo, summon, and then, well, Ninja Swords live again. It wasn't the greatest ever, that was actually pretty bad, but it's not the worst ever either. So opponent goes, I don't know, I'll just do this just to get out of the way. So my opponent had a monster established, and during their standby phase, or whatever, or during their battle phase, if they attack, and just sword it. Alright, so my turn. MST. Alright, so this is just a grind game from there on. Let's try this again. If I haven't drawn that second Ninjutsu art, I actually would have showed you guys something else that's pretty cool with this deck. But let's just go on for now, and I'll most likely draw into it again. Alright, so this is a really, really good hand. Like, really good. Here is a White Dragon's Taystone lock right here. That's like the go-to. These two are good, and this is decent. So for the sake of this, let's go back and say I had this one Ninja art. This is probably my favorite to draw. It'd be nice if there's another monster in my hand, like a Mirmello, so I can summon first, because I only like summoning Hanzo when they have an established monster on the field. But if they don't, then, you know, let's just make this hand a little bit better, just because like I want to actually show you guys how it's supposed to work. Like if they went first and they have a monster summoned, then that'd be a little bit better. But I just want to show you guys like how I play this kind of hand. Just summon Magiline, just search out, and then set Ninja Sword, that, and whatever. Opponent goes, they kill a monster. What they do? Okay, draw. So here. Well, here I have the option of going into a 101 with Thrasher and Magiline. But for this, let's just summon. Activate Hanzo. Let's say they have a Deck Baler, or a Phoenix Chain, or a Bottomless, and they chain it to Hanzo in order for me not to get my system going. From here, I would chain Ninjutsu Art. So here, I would switch out, and he would avoid the Valors and the Phoenix Chains. And you know, it's just, yeah, it's good dodge. So when the effect resolves, I would special White Dragon Ninja, and then Hanzo will resolve, switching out the Ninjutsu Art. And this cannot be bombless or torrential attributed because this came out during Chain Link 2. And your opponent cannot activate cards that would, well, they can't activate in resolving chains. So this resolves bombless, Phoenix Chain, or Veiler with Fizzle, and she is invincible. And you got rid of an opponent's monster. So basically, because of this card in hand and that card resolving that way, you got rid of a monster and a effect negator, and you have this card here to stun them for next turn. So opponent goes, and then they do something scary. This is a ninja, so switch out and special redox, and now you have your redox imagining system going. So that is like probably the best disruption hand that this has. So opponent ends turn, redox goes back to your hand, draw. Rhoda into a Thrasher, special Thrasher, normal Mageline, search out for Mageline, and from here you can go into 101 or King of Pharaoh Imp in order to continue searching. But if my opponent has like a monster or something up and back row, generally I would special Thrasher and attack to bait something out. Because if they have like a Mirror Force or Deep Prison or something that can stop his attack, you activate on him because they don't want to lose 2100 because that's a lot. So he baits stuff out basically. So attack, if they Mirror Force or whatever, then you'll lose a monster, but you still have your Mageline to keep your field presence alive. But if they don't, attack, main phase 2, summon, search, go into 101 or King of Pharaoh Imps. So let's say Mageline is searched. Alright, and then you would overlay into for the sake of this, King of Pharaoh Imp. Detach. And search for a Mass Chameleon. So Redox has more food to discard with. Set. They do something with Tenki, Sun Bear, I guess. I probably wouldn't use this on Imp because I don't really care. Dark Hole. Whatever. Yep, they clear my field, boo. Turn. Let's pretend that didn't happen. I didn't shuffle, right? Oh yeah, I didn't shuffle. Oh wait, they didn't cut. That's gonna be my excuse for this video. Phone goes, draw. Veiler, not bad. Okay. So I have two choices here. I can summon this, special out Thrasher to make a 101 or a Synchro. Or I can normal summon, search out that Mageline, and then use Redox, discard, special out the other Mageline, and then make a Tiramisu. So here's pretty good. Detach. If I have a Saison set, I would generally throw back one card. If they have like one card to throw back. Cause I need that other Mageline in the graveyard in order for Tiramisu to have a target for next turn. So attack. Opponent goes, Veiler, Saison, she's alive. My turn. Detach. Send back 2 this time. And now 3 Magelines are back in the deck, and the Mageline engine's back up again. And I threw back 2 cards. And then I have this cool field. Summon Mass Chameleon. I would probably make a Scrap Dragon to pop the dead Ninja Swords. So, do you guys agree with me that when you look at the deck, like the deck list, it looks ugly? Like, I'm not gonna lie, the deck list looks really, really ugly when you see it on DN. Because it's a random mixture of random stuff, and you can't figure out how the deck works. But when you actually see a deck play out, like this, then it it actually makes sense about how it works. So if you guys see like any posts about how ILMOS just looks disgusting, go ahead and link them to this video. And like they can see how the deck actually is supposed to be played. Alright, so next one, or next 5. So far, pretty good. Alright, so this is a really good hand. If I go first, special, normal summon, effect. Since I have effect negators, I would just search out the bombless overlay into imp. Detach Thrasher, search out Masked Chameleon. Then set attack stopper, disruptor, and the summon stopper. Alright. So opponent goes, Tenki, summon something. I'm just gonna get rid of this just cause like to protect them. Turn. Detach. Search out Masked Chameleon number 2. If I had Imagine in hand, then I would search out Kage to Kage, because it's better to top deck Masked Chameleon than it is to top deck into Masked Chameleon into a Kage to Kage when it's late game. But Kage to Kage is not going to do anything right now, so I can't really search him. So summon Masked Chameleon, special out Thrasher, and then I could synchro or exceed into something. What you synchro or exceed in, it really depends on like the matchup you're playing, but the go-to I usually go for is Stardust Spark Dragon, just because he's like the safe choice. So I set an effect negator and a summon stopper. So yeah, everything else really depends. Oh, that's not bad. That's pretty good. So it really depends on what you're playing against, on like what you make and stuff. So this is just like shout playing. Alright, so one more just to see if like draw anything special. But this basically what I showed you is kind of like how the deck plays. Come on, Stratos. Okay. So I didn't draw anything cool this turn, sadly. So Rhoda into a Hanzo. Hanzo activates. Search into Ninjutsu Art Super Transformation. You can also hold the Rhoda, because the deck has 3 Hanzos, so you could top deck into a Hanzo. But, you know, right now I just feel like doing that. You could also set this so they don't know what you're playing, and if they attack into it, it bounces to your hand, so you have an empty field to deal with. But it's, again, it depends what you're playing against. So here's a Disruptor card. Disruptor, Summon Hate, Disruptor. But they all disrupt different things, so that's why I'm saying all of them. Yeah. Depends what they do, really, but that's not a bad draw. So, with this kind of hand, I would normally summon her, search her. I'll protect her for 1 turn. That, like, try my best to protect her for 1 turn. So that goes there. If they attack an Imagineling or Hanzo, I'm going to chain and distort. Alright, these got used up somehow. Alright, so turn ends. That's not bad. Alright, so I'd say they killed that guy because they bomblessed her when I chained it. So I would summon Masked Chameleon and then synchro for a Scrap Dragon. And then pop this and pop their monster. So here is my Tiramisu factor now. All I gotta do is summon her, search out another copy, discard both. We're making discard the Magileine and the Redox, special this Magileine, and then make Tiramisu. And if they didn't get rid of White Dragon, then that means you're winning, because you have a monster on the field. That's really, really good. Alright, so that was kind of lackluster. I don't want to end up on a lackluster note. I want to actually end on a good shadow play. So let's just shuffle this a little bit more. Alright. Oh, okay, that's not bad. So, duality. Yeah, if I have like any special summon plays and a duality, I'll just activate duality. So here, well, I would duality first, because I want, the highest priority summon I want is Murmillo. So if I have a Murmillo chance, I would take it. No Murmillo chance. Okay. So here is how I duality. When I duality, I look at the 3 cards, and I separate them in my mind to 3 different piles. One is the useless stuff. One is the stuff that'll be good like now. And the last pile would be what would be better to top deck into later in the game. So I would not search out this. So in my mind, this is like not here. And I would take this into my hand, because this is better early game, and if you put it back in your deck and draw it later game, it's not as good as it could be. I would rather rip into a Thrasher, because Magicaline's in my hand now, so I'm always going to have a level 4, like always. So if I rip into a Thrasher, I can special Thrasher and a normal Magicaline, versus having a Magicaline and a Summon Warning, and then it's just like, summon and then stay there. So yeah, when I duality, I would prioritize what's good now over what's gonna be good when I rip into it late game. So I didn't get Murmillo here. Oh yeah, I would also search out Murmillo over Warning, because Murmillo kind of acts like a Warning by herself. So like, she's better to top deck into earlier game than Warning. So I would summon Magicaline and then search out Magicaline. So set this Disruptor and a Summon Hate. I'll keep the Warning in my hand so I don't MST it. I'd rather they MST one of these two. They go Trap Hole, okay. Tanky, sure. Let's say that. Yeah. For the sake of this, let's say they kill Magicaline somehow. I mean, I don't know how, but, she's dead. Let's just go with that. Or they clear my whole field because they're pro players. Turn. Book. Alright. So they have their monster established. I would summon Hanzo. And then search. Now, here, it really depends on, like, what back row they have. If they didn't Warning or Phoenix Chain or Bombless him, their set's probably like a Mirror Force or Deep Prison. So I want this to be live. Or it's a MST. If it's an MST, that's unfortunate. So I would most likely not attack. But if I'm playing against, like, I don't know, Harpies, that's probably like a set Hysteric Sign. So I would probably attack. But again, it doesn't matter because it's a Hysteric Sign. Well, I have Warning, so it doesn't matter. But I would set these 3. A Disruptor, for 2 different things, and a Warning. So, opponent goes, and then, yeah, activate Ninja Sword to disrupt their stuff. What's the next draw card? Alright, not bad. So yeah, this is ILMOS, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video, and hope it helps you learn how to play ILMOS a little bit better. This is Cresta, signing out.